Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Sarah Michelle Bliss. I am a master coach with Workman Success, and I think I'm going on 6 years coaching with Workman. So it's super exciting. I love doing it. It is such a thrill to get to coach people like Nicole and Jermeshia and just see their businesses, using the Workman concepts and see their businesses just get transformed. And so I've been selling real estate 25 years. I'm actually an original founder for the brokerage that I work for here in Phoenix. And currently I do sell, but I am also the director of agent development for my brokerage. So I do a lot of training, some recruiting, and a lot of retention. So love that part of the job is the retention. So I'm super excited to be here. And I don't know how we even got to this conversation. I think because Burl was at your guys' office, and that's what prompted this webinar.
Yeah, he came down and he did a all-day session. It was called How to Thrive in Real Estate. It was the morning session, and then he did an afternoon team mastermind. So he, sat with us, sat with our brokerage, sat with our audience. I mean, and just gave some great information, and we got so much great feedback. The audience was very empowered and powered up, and even the agents come back and say, Burl said this, Burl said that, I'm doing this because Burl said do this, and Burl said do that, and we're like, yeah, we say that all the time, but when Burl says it,
it just resonated differently.
It's different. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's you guys having Burl there prompted this webinar to get you guys together, and of course I'm excited to facilitate it. So Nicole, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Nicole Handy. Not a funny story, but Jermeshia and I are first cousins. So she is the broker of the brokerage. We are co-owners of the Braden Real Estate Group here in Houston, Texas. We have been coaching going on 2 years.
No, it's
going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years. Going on 3 years. So Sarah was our original coach, and we've stuck with her ever since. So we really, really like her.
We do. We like Sarah.
We really, really do like her. Personally, I am a wife to my 6'9" husband, Larry, and also I have a daughter named Lee.
Awesome. We're going to dive in a little bit more, but we do have, so they have their brokerage, but they also have a team inside the brokerage that Nicole runs. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but just a really unique boutique brokerage that they have. And Nicole, Jermeshia, you want to tell us about your Zoom says Nicole, so that's what threw me off.
Oh yeah. Let me go in and change
Jermeshia.
Yes. Hi,
tell
everyone.
us a little bit about you.
Yes, I'm Jermeshia Goudeau, Madam Broker of Braden Real Estate Group. As Nicole stated, we're our first cousins. We've been partners since the early days. So no, I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate for 11 years. We founded Braden Real Estate Group 4 years ago. So it's been a great journey. It's an even better journey once we met Workman and Sarah. So it's been phenomenal. I am a mother, I'm a wife, I have 3 children, and the youngest is a 9-month-old who keeps me up late at night. But it's been so exciting. I can't wait to share with you our journey with Workman, our journey with the brokerage. It's been phenomenal. So thank you for having us. And let me change my name.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead, and I want you guys to keep that in mind. 4 years brokerage as we move through this, and just to see the tremendous growth that these ladies have had in their brokerage in just a really short period of time. So I just got back from Salt Lake City. We a couple times a year, Burl brings us all up to Salt Lake to the headquarters, and we do an intensive 2.5-day training, which is, just makes us better as coaches. And the theme this year was a pantry, and the difference between following a recipe versus or baking versus cooking, and how to follow a recipe. And so when we talk about the 12 key concepts at Workman, we all have a pantry, and you could probably, not necessarily me because I'm a terrible cook, but most of you on this call could go into your pantry, find some ingredients and throw them together and make a meal, right? And so we all have the ingredients in our pantry. It's just, we need a recipe, right? We need the recipe to follow. And when you're baking, you really have to follow the recipe. Otherwise things don't turn out right. A missing ingredient or too much of something, or not following could fall flat, right? All those things. So when we talk about the 12 key concepts, that's the ingredients. And then when we follow the recipe, which is following what we coach, then we have the results that we want. And, Burl said something absolutely brilliant. This was a few months ago. We said it again at Coach Training, is that greatness is predictable. But so is failure.
Right.
And so greatness is predictable. And what Jermeshia and Nicole have done is they've followed the recipe, and that's why they've had the results that they've had. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so what was your business? You guys were on a team before, weren't you? Before you started the brokerage?
We were on the Braden Real Estate Group team, so we
Okay.
created a small team. So it was just the two of us basically
Okay.
on a small team before we started Braden Real Estate Group.
Okay. So how was your business before you got into coaching?
So let me say this. So Jermeshia and I, one thing we were very good at is selling real estate. Right. And so, we both prior to had corporate jobs. Right. So we kind of, took some of, just the professionalism and aspects of, our corporate experience and, poured it into our real estate business. But we were great at selling real estate. Sold tons of real estate, multi-million-dollar producers. What we did not know is how to run a brokerage. Or how to run a team, right? So we, like I said, transaction wise, all the ins and outs of that was great, right? But when we actually started the brokerage, that's when we saw and recognized that, hey, this is a totally different skill set, right? In brokerage and team, right? Being an individual producing agent is one thing. Being brokerage owners, team leaders is totally different, right? And that's the piece that we did not have down. We tried to mimic things that we did in our previous brokerages. I think we were with 4 or 5 brokerages before we started our own. And so, some of the tools and resources that they use, we had those in the mix. But I'm very honest, we were not making money, because we were very agent focused, right? We came into our business offering everything to agents that we wanted as realtors, right? What do we want? Low splits, tons of resources, all the training you can provide, hands-on, coaching and all of that stuff. I wanted, a lot of realtors were part-time, and so we offered everything that we would want as an agent, not thinking like a business owner. Right. And so before we hired coaching, honestly, we were probably on our way out of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Nicole stated, we were very agent centric. So we had a very agent centric mindset. It's how can we be more competitive? How can we grow agents? We were a new brokerage. So most new brokerages attract new agents. So Nicole and I were grinding. When I say we were hustling, like we were not short of hustling. We were making money individually. We were hustling. We were doing everything it takes to take care of our clients. But at the end of the day, we poured all of our individual resources into the brokerage.
Right.
And so that's a problem. And so somebody told me that the broker,
which means broke.
Yes. So we found out quickly what that could mean. And so we had to put a stop gate to that. We had to reach out for help. So
sure. So that's interesting that you say that you were on your way out the door. So money probably was tight, right? And then to decide to invest in workmen, right? To invest in coaching, that's a huge decision. That's a huge decision. So, obviously that's probably why you made the decision, right? Is recognizing we need help. So did you guys think about any other programs, or was Workman your go-to?
Workman, to be honest, was our go-to. We were exposed to Workman through HAR. HAR had a teams training, and for those of you who don't know who HAR is our local MLS association, the Houston Association of Realtors. They had an HAR teams. It had all the value proposition and things and all the pain points that we were experiencing in the advertisement. So we were like, sign us up for that. So after we were exposed to the teams training, the information about RAMP and SLAM for those who are Workman clients, it was like, okay, we need to ask more.
And Workman had what I call an out-of-the-box solution, right? In my corporate days, I worked in corporate IT, and we would, bring on what we call out-of-the-box solutions. So basically solutions, software that was already developed, and we would just tweak it, for the needs of our business. And so when you look at how much time, energy, an out-of-the-box solution can save you, it was a no-brainer to me.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, well,
it was scary, to invest in coaching when you hear the cost associated with investing in coaching, because from an agent-centric mindset and not with the business mindset, you're just like, I don't want to spend that money right now, and I want to spend that money on something else. But it was probably one of the best investments that we've ever made.
Well, can we just let that? It's probably. Were you guys profitable last year?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah. So
absolutely, were.
we, oh
Absolutely.
yeah, we actually doubled our
Our
profit
profits
too.
from
You
the year
know,
before. Mhm.
So, and
I hate to say this, but we were kind of like, yeah. We looked at our taxes with our CPA, earlier this year, and I'm like, we got to spend some more money. Like
We got to spend some
you
more
know,
money.
like it's costing us. We're getting taxed too heavy. You know, we need to find other ways
so
to expense out of some more money.
So in 2 years of coaching, your brokerage doubled
Mhm.
in profitability. So I just
Absolutely
want to
did.
make sure people hear that so that
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
make sure, because a lot of, I coach a lot of broker owners, and majority of them, they struggle, right? They struggle with recruiting, they struggle with retention, they struggle with understanding their value proposition, and what makes them,
Let's touch on that.
yeah, we're going to touch
Yeah.
on that in a couple of slides, but most brokerages are not operating in a profit zone. So I want to make sure we highlight that. So what was your first year? What do you think was the biggest change for you coming into coaching?
It was changing the mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
It was the mindset shift, and it was the focus. So before that, we were really putting out fires. We were putting out fires in so many areas of our business, and put some energy here with some marketing. Nicole, put out some more videos. Nicole, do this, do that. Okay, we got to work on this back end. Let's do some compliance. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's put some money into some Facebook ads. Let's put some money here. Let's do that. We were kind of all over the place, just trying to do when we were successful realtors, what did we do to be successful? So it's trying to follow that same dynamic, and that dynamic was not working as broker owners or potential team leaders as we were growing out a small production team with the business at the time. So it was full of challenges, and it was a lack of focus.
Well, one thing I'm going to say about you two is that you guys, your first year in coaching, you were sponges. You came in and you were incredibly coachable, and you bought into a system called Daily Success Habits. And your buyer's agents really bought into it, right? So your first buyer's agent, first year in the business, did what, 11 million his first year as a buyer's agent?
Yeah.
And
So he went from 2 million to 10 million, but he really honed in on success habits. It took it like no other, ran with it like no other, was focused on it, that pretty much consumed his life. He went from 2 million to $10 million producer in just 12 months.
In just 12 months.
He came in with the nothing to lose mentality when it came to daily success habits.
Right.
And the daily success habits were such a game changer that one piece of the business, that one aspect on, money-making activities, it changed it. But it was the commitment to, I just need to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was everything. So it was definitely the mindset shift in doing the work.
Yeah. And I think one of the cool things about Bernard is that now we have evidence of success, right?
Absolutely.
We can say that, hey, this buyer's agent did it. Now go do what he's done. Because again, greatness is predictable, right? And if we follow the recipe, we get the desired results. And so I love that about him. What's he going to do this year? What's he on track to do?
Well, we've promoted him.
Yes.
Being honest, he's no longer on the team, and now he's leading our development division. He has a passion for that. He's gotten really good at it. So now his success habits have actually changed a little bit, in terms of his audience, right? So it's still the habits, the success habits that you did to gain all of these buyer clients. Now let's transition that over to gaining all of these developer clients and new opportunities for us.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's the beauty about the daily success habits. It's their habits.
Right.
Habits that you should do daily. Okay. It's, it's really kind of, very simple. What they say, keep it simple. It's daily success habits. These are habits that you need to do daily to be successful. And so you can really mimic that and take that same core, habits and transition it and translate into any other area of your business. And you can still find that same level of success. Even us as not buyers agents, just individual agents, you can still use it. So that's the beauty of it.
I think workman team, you need to just take that little snippet that she just said about daily success habits, and we'll just use that in another training.
I mean, right? You just honestly, we use it. You have recruiting on the screen. The success habits do not change. The audience changes.
Yes.
Right? And so we've even given success habits to our recruiter. He has a specific set of success habits recruiting agents. It's the habit, like she said.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about recruiting. So you guys are some of my favorite people to talk about when it comes to recruiting, because we started out, let's just be transparent. You started out, you had a bunch of part-timers that from Madam Broker Jermeshia's nickname is Madam Broker, just so y'all know. So she went from dealing with risk management and rogue agents to, we basically went through and cleaned house and got rid of a bunch of agents that were just, they were risk people, right? And they were sucking the life out of it and not making things fun. And then so they've gone from a handful of agents in 2 years to over 90 agents, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more. But we started though with culture. That was one of the first things that their first assignments is what's your culture? What do you want to be known for? And they had already kind of started this organic, very classy. If you've ever followed Nicole on YouTube or Facebook, her videos are amazing. I'm gonna have you talk more about that.
Thank you.
But you guys started with that. So what are your guys' core values?
So our core values are, I mean, first, the foundation of the core values is based on who we are. And you spoke to our organic culture that was already created, was a culture and a commitment and a lifestyle of a family, of excellence, of accountability. And so our core values kind of align with that. And so they're leading with excellence. If we're going to do something, we're not going to just, I forgot some things I kind of say, we're on the webinar. So certain things we're just not going to do is subpar. Okay. We're going to say subpar.
Right.
We're going to do them with excellence, goal oriented. A lot of times that we're in this, and what we learned that from our core values is, from our daily success habits, initially we were going through the motions. So in order to be successful, we had to have a goal in mind. We had to be goal oriented. So goal oriented is one of our core values as well. Lead with integrity. That's very important with Braden, especially in this industry. So leading with integrity, we have a polished image, always acting with professionalism, reaching back and pulling forward, because we have a commitment to our community that we serve. And we have a commitment and duty to each other as from a collaboration perspective. We definitely have client obsessed. Come on now, we can't do our job without being fully obsessed with the clients that we serve. So those are some of our core values. But once we identified, come on, Sarah was like, I need y'all to breathe. What are y'all core values? Y'all need to have y'all core value and value proposition. Our next training session, it changed the game. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And Workman has instilled in us to hire and fire according to our core values, right? And we use that very heavily. But one core value Jermeshia didn't mention was solution driven. And the reason why I really, really like that one is because it's helped us to shape up the mindset of our agents. Is, don't come just with a complaint, come with the solution, or come let's talk through how we can have a solution, develop a solution. And so not just from, the agent broker relationship, but also with your clients, be solution driven, be solution forward, just don't come with a complaint. And that's really kind of helped us foster better relationships with our agents, right? Because they know, don't start off with the complaint. Let's start off with let's start off with the solution first, and then work backwards to why we're talking through a solution.
Sure.
But
yeah.
In recruitment, once we set the core values, even going on maternity leave, where I was handling most of the recruitment, Nicole and Ebony or Kirby, whoever's a part of the recruitment process, can be like, okay, they're not aligned with our core values. We're going to pass on this agent. Or even the agents that we were attracting, once we became true to our core values and had a consistent, put that out there, then the agents, they self-eliminated themselves, in the process, once they identified that, I'm not aligned with that. And that's perfectly okay. And that's what we love about our core values. We put them out there. We let everybody know what they are when we first meet them and first interact with them. And if they're not aligned with it, it's no love lost. It's a home for everyone. But these are just the core values we live by.
So what do you think, because from a recruiting perspective, I have my thoughts on what I think works well for you guys, but do you think, Nicole, is there one particular thing that you do that you feel like is something you could share that's makes you good at recruiting?
Yeah, I'll talk from the new agent perspective, and then I'll kind of maybe let Jermeshia take on like the more experienced agent. But so from the new agent perspective, we utilize the RAMP program, right? And if you look at what RAMP is, it's a program that Workman has developed, but basically it teaches you all of the fundamentals of running a real estate business, and acting as an individual business owner in this business, from, your reason why you're doing this, goal setting, of course, the buyer and seller processes, but in a more competitive, competitive, advantage. Also things like, the DISC assessment, really focusing heavily on that, understanding others' personality types and how you can best interact with those personality types. I mean, you name it, have goal sheets, having predictable income, understanding what your different pillars of marketing are, what do we call them? Pillars of marketing. Yeah. Honing in on your pillars of marketing. I mean, it's just so much, understanding your strengths and weaknesses and opportunities along with those, but it's just so much. And it's a really robust program. And we've taken that program and really honed in on it with our new agents. And so we use that program to have a 12-week curriculum for our new agents. And I mean, we've had agents from all over, Keller Williams, all the big boxes, you name it. And we actually like it when we get agents from other brokerages because they have something to compare it to. And they'll tell you like our new agent program is like no other. The amount of resources that they get, we have a new agent advisor that facilitates the program, but just the abundance of resources that they get, again, in my opinion, through this out of the box solution that we've, put our little spin on, but the abundance of resources that they get is phenomenal. I mean, like all of our new agents, have nothing but raving reviews to say about the program, but also it's helped instill and build their confidence too. That's the one thing you see with a lot of new agents, they will actually shy away from trying to attract new business, or they'll have business sitting right in front of their laps and they're scared to take it on because the lack of confidence, right? I don't know what to say, I don't know how to interact, I don't know what to do, and so just that whole entire program has really shaped the way that we bring, that new agents that we mentor, coach, teach, have excelled in their real estate careers.
So Nicole, is that optional when they join your brokerage?
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's not optional. So 2 main things with the new agent program. Oh, well, a couple of things. One, you have to, of course, be someone that aligns with our core values. The program is not optional. So we do take an assessment of their previous, history or as an agent, because some of them are quote unquote, they're not brand new agents in terms of I just got my license, but their skill set may be, considered brand new agent. And then also they have to be full time. It's an abundance of resources that, we provide through that program. And, if they can't commit to attending and being part of it, it's a disservice for both of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have something I want to add to your guys' recruiting because you're too humble to say it. Nicole is always recruiting. Everywhere she goes, she's always recruiting. And so I'm going to tell this story about you because it was last year on her birthday, and she has a video person on staff. I love this story. So because it's so brilliant. So she has somebody who kind of doesn't always follow her around on video, but often
oh my gosh.
follows her around. And so it was her birthday, and she decided to have an adult slumber party, and she had the person come and film it. And again, you got to go watch her videos. They're just so cool and classy and so well done. And so we get on the next call and I said, do you realize what you did with that? And she goes, no, I don't. What are you talking about? I just filmed my birthday party. I said, that was recruiting because you're selling a lifestyle. She talks about going from the corporate world to having this life of luxury, this freedom, this financial freedom, the fun, the class, all of that. And just by putting that out there, it's drawing people to them that want to have that same quality of life, right? And so our core value, our mission statement at my brokerage is to have a profound impact on agents' lives. And so when I think about what they do, when we put that out there, right, we have that quality of life, and it's not just about trophies and awards and how much money you make, it's about your quality of life. And so when you put stuff like that out there, so she's always recruiting you guys. And so everything that she puts out, it's very intentional how it's worded, what the message is, all of that. And it ties back to the core values. And I love that you guys are saying that not everybody is welcome, right? As brokers, we tend to do that, right? We just come here, you fog a mirror. Can you pay your dues? Right? And so I love that you're protecting the culture. Yeah. So Jermeshia, you got anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely. So you're saying culture is everything. Like I said, after my wedding, aka the Christmas party. So after our Christmas party, Christmas in Noor, by the way, it was awesome. We had so many agents to reach out after that event because it was just like, I just want to be in that place with you all of excellence. Mm-hmm. So everything that we do are tied to the core values that we set, because it was sure that, hey, if we're going to even have a Christmas party, the Christmas parties is to be done in excellence. And so it resonates in all areas of our business on how we want to do that, because at the core of it, people who are attracted to this brand and this brand of lifestyle and excellence and all of that, it's attracted all the way around from recruitment forever. But as far as recruiting talent and using Workman systems, so Nicole stated a lot about the new agent program. So with the new agents, they go through almost like a live ramp. We have someone executing that. But with Workman, we're enterprise clients. So if you're not part of the Workman system, you might not understand what that means, being Workman client, Workman enterprise clients. But we have the team. So normally on a small team, you have access to all the systems and the processes that Workman has to offer. It was so awesome. And the impact that it had on the team was so great that we were like, we have to make this available to the entire brokerage. So from a recruiting perspective, we made even our seasoned agents or our seasoned recruits that are, not new agents, but they came in and they say, hey, I don't need all this one-on-one. I don't need to go through this class. I've been producing, but we made this Workman Enterprise Systems, what we consider BREG University, at their hands. And so they have modules, they have an on-demand training program that at any time they can go in and kind of dial into this training. Some of the training is very similar to what the new agents are receiving, but I'm just going to be honest. Nicole and I are out there making money in real estate, and we did not have systems and processes in place.
Right.
But we were making money, okay? we were doing great, but it was starting to get to a point that we were exhausted, we were tired. So that's why it was like, this isn't just for the new agents to utilize this. We have, our SLAM, which is the Selling Listing Agent Mastery Program, even Rising Agent. We learned so much. We dove into it for ourselves so we could understand the training, so we could educate and train our agents. But Nicole and I, we were taking pointers and tips, and we were like, oh, we need to
absolutely
into our business. So that's a way that we bring in when we're trying to recruit experienced agents who are like, I'm not a new agent. What does Braden have to offer me as not a new agent? What services, what value do you have? Is we have this enterprise system that gives you access to basically the foundational elements of your business that if you didn't have before, it's okay. Let's create that foundation and those talents now so we can make it great from here. Do what we did. Let's revamp your business from here.
So Nicole, do you work any buyers anymore?
I rarely do.
They're in Sienna.
Yeah, I hate to. So it's allowed me to make my life easier in terms of, I am selective with the clientele that I take on. A lot of it is in my neighborhood, which I love because, I can literally just run around the corner, but having the team has made my life easier in terms of, like I said, I have the convenience of being a little bit more selective with the business that I take on, but I mean, like Jermeshia said, a lot of the business that I've gained just through farming my community was things that I've learned through Workman too, even as a seasoned realtor, with already a good book of business, now I feel like I have more control of the business.
Okay, so I think we kind of talked about that a little bit. What unique ways are you attracting agents to your brokerage? And so for those of you that don't know what enterprise is, it's basically a package you can work with Workman on to have access. If you're coaching, you have access to the training center. But if you're a broker owner and or a team lead, well, I guess if you're broker owner, you want access to that for your entire brokerage. That is a service that Workman offers that you guys can have access. And I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything, put it in the chat and somebody from Workman will reach out to you and talk to you about that if you're interested in learning more. So is there anything else besides the ramp and training center that you feel like is and the video content? Is there anything else you feel like makes you good? Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the events. I was going to say events.
I was like events.
Something, I feel like it from a leader perspective, I meet with agents one-on-one all the time, and now I'm equipped with resources that I can give to them. And I think that's made me be a better leader, coach, mentor, and so forth. They may say, hey, I'm having trouble with time management and things like that. Oh, okay, let's grab my perfect week. Let's go through it. Let's follow, let's write it out and all those things. So it has equipped, us personally with resources so that we can be better coaches and mentors within our own brokerage.
Yeah. So I think on social media, I mean, you guys are just very present on social media. We always joke around when it comes to recruiting, we are our own best kept secret, right? Because we just don't, and that's hard, right? It's hard to kind of be all these different places, but you've really used social media to spread the word. And you've even had agents from other parts of Texas want to join your brokerage, right?
Absolutely.
Because that culture is so loud and proud. But Jermeshia, let's talk about events. You guys do some
Okay.
events in the community where we invite agents to come, and that
Yes.
becomes like having Burl in town. You turn that into a
Mhm.
recruiting event, right? What other events do you guys do?
So one of our flagship events is called In the Mix with Braden. So that's a quarterly networking event that we can bring in industry partners, we bring in realtors, we have people coming in, and it's basically just so you can see firsthand. People always say, on social media, y'all are the same on social media as y'all are in real life. And it's so you can kind of see, touch, feel, we're in the sales business as well, recruiting is sales. And so people need to buy into that know, like, and trust factor. And the best way to do that is to invite our people, whether it's our clients, industry partners, vendors that we work with, potential recruits, to allow them to interact with us. And it's not in a salesy type environment. It's building that camaraderie, building that trust, or even just building that spirit of collaboration that you can foster down the line. So events are something great that we do. And so the social aspect is great. Braden loves to have a good party. We always do it in pure Braden fashion.
Yeah.
But we also have a lot of educational opportunities we believe in. We've brought, commercial training through some of our, commercial instructors that are top instructors in the state to come in doing training. We've brought Burl in for training because we want to always be learning. Always learning is one of our core values as well. So we don't want to just have a good time. We want to make sure that we're bringing value to the community that we serve through education as well, because yes, we're not running not-for-profit organizations. Okay. So we need to make sure that everybody knows what they need to do to excel in this industry.
Yeah. Do you have any tips that you would offer somebody who's just getting started with recruiting?
Oh, create your core values. Okay. So when you're a new agent, you will bring in your mama, you will bring your mama, your aunties. Okay. We're from the South, everybody's, so you will say, just come on, come as you are. This is not church. Everybody is not welcome at the table. So set those core values and set them up. Live by them in your recruiting. Even if you're a team and you're not recruiting, brokerage agents who can do whatever. When you're a team and you're like, I am stressed and I just need some help. I need a buyer's agent on my side, or I just need an admin on my side. Don't get desperate. Set those core values first. And once you set the core values and you identify when you're conducting those interviews, or, hey, are you going to come to the table, and they don't match your core values, let them, what do you always say, Sarah? Release them to their destiny. Okay.
Give them back to the market. Give them back to the market. Give them back to the market.
Release them to their destiny. It's okay. Everybody is not meant for you. Because I'm telling you, it will just choose the right hire from the beginning, and don't feel desperate to hire because you're tired. Okay.
Yeah. And that's a big mistake that we made. We would hire out of desperation just because we needed somebody. Workman really taught us how to thoroughly vet out, a candidate through, disc assessment, multiple interviews, informal interviews, really just honing into, not just them as a professional, but, what's their personal life? Do they have, Sarah always says, do they have crazy at home? Because if they have crazy at home, it's going to turn to crazy at work. And she's not lying. So I mean, when I say comprehensive, it's comprehensive. We don't just use Workman for agent related, in terms of like training our agents and things like that. We truly do utilize their system to run our business.
Okay, so we call that opportunity hires, right? So we don't make opportunity hires. And I always tell people, fall in love with the process, not the person.
Yeah.
Right. Fall in love with the process.
We'll even send like, hey, we got a new candidate, Sarah. Can you look at their disc assessment? She gives her honest feedback. And I'll admit this. I'm shamefully admitting that, when we didn't listen to Sarah and we hired somebody, it didn't turn out right.
It never turns out right. I don't know why we keep doing it.
Follow the process. It just works. And I hate to say this. So now we're like, okay, every time we don't listen to Sarah, every time we don't follow the process, you already know what the outcome is going to be. We have to remind ourselves, because we get that edge sometimes. I'm like, well, we're just going to try this. No. We're beyond the experimental phase. It's already lined out for us. It's already outlined for us. Just follow it. And it works.
I love you too. You're cracking me up. I hope I have some other coaching clients on this call today. I'm gonna have Nicole
Listen
and
to
Jermeshia.
Sarah. Listen to Sarah.
But it's crazy. That sticks in the back of my mind. Do they have crazy at home? And she blatantly says it just like that. You know, do they have crazy at home?
Well, y'all know my story about not listening to crazy, and it was crazy. So, so we've already kind of talked a little bit about this, but so I just want to drive home the point too that when they onboard somebody, they have to fit the culture, and going through RAMP or SLAM or their training program is not optional, right? It's mandatory if they want to be a part of a part of that. Is there anything else about your onboarding process besides the training that you feel is valuable to share?
Oh, the training is great, but I will give a shout out to our new agent advisor, Ebony Royal. She's also a workman facilitator, so she's trained on facilitating the Rising Agent Mastery Program through RAMP, and she is just a pure patient soul who is super accountable.
Absolutely, yeah.
And she is one of those persons when we were just trying to determine who is best to lead the class, because workman teachers build our systems. You can't do everything all the time. So we need to bring someone in, and she met all of our core values all day. And so in her training and everything that she does, she also gives it her everything. Yeah. And she's patient, she's kind, she's full of resources, and we really appreciate her. So she's been phenomenal. So you have to have that right hire. Yeah, you can have all these systems, you can have all the right processes, but if you don't have the right hire, it all goes to the wire.
And I will say this, I feel that Ebony believes in the, she believes in the information that she's passing along. You know what I'm saying? She's honing it. She's honed it in for herself. And honestly, I've seen her, grow into a superstar agent as well. And a lot of the reason why is because she actively, works the fundamentals that she teaches, and so, when you believe in something, you're actively doing it. I mean, it becomes easy for you to regurgitate and, guide others.
Absolutely.
So I
love that.
I will say we tried to roll out this. We did a expansion team.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I'm gonna bring it up. They can't just know the good, Sarah. Okay, we got to give them the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay, give them the good, bad, and the ugly. So we tried to expand into another market. We brought someone in as our manager in that market. We gave them the workman ways. Okay, we like, hey, this is the system. They didn't watch any of the videos. They didn't watch any.
They weren't bought in.
They were like, oh, I read it, but it was just kind of, I already know some of this stuff, it was. And so when we were recruiting agents in that market, their responsibility was similar to Ebony's, was to facilitate this process with them in that market. But because they did not believe in it and they were not bought into it. And for those of you who are not working, it's not necessarily work, it's about whatever process systems you have in place. If the people that you're hiring are not bought into your vision or your mission and your process and system of how you do business, then that's not okay. So she wasn't bought in into the systems, into the process, to the workman way and how we train our clients. So it did not go well. The agents did not have the structure that they needed to be successful. Right. And as we all know, new agents that are transitioning from a 9-to-5 work environment, real estate, you need that stability. You need that. It really helps to have that level of structure. And that's what that new agent training program and the workman process and system gives to the agents. It gives them a sense of, what do I need to be doing today? I'm an agent, now what? How do I structure my day? Which is very, very important.
So that rolls into the next part of the slide here, is besides the training system, and we know we've talked about daily success habits that your team, that's a non-negotiable for your team, right? That's just, they know it coming in. We have the 10 things to be on the team that we live by, right? You guys huddle every day. We have meetings, and then we do the double looping on leads. And then another tool that you guys
the double looping is always so hilarious.
Agent is Sarah's fault, team members. It's Sarah's fault that double looping is there.
But some of the tools, essentially the workbench, number one, because all of our agents can track their daily success habits. And that's one thing that they have to do. They have to track them daily. So we hold them accountable by making sure they're tracking the success habits. And so they can log into the workbench from their desktops, or they have an app on their phone. So I always say it's no excuse to not track, because you can we're on our phones 24/7. You can open up the app on your phone and track. Funny thing, when we have our huddles, I don't go in there every day, but I'll go in there and look and see, when people say, oh, they've had, I had a rough day yesterday, I'm like, well, hey, you didn't log any success habits, or you only logged a few of them. Your effort, your results is it's a direct correlation, to your effort. So that, and then also CSU. CSU is what we use for our lead and contract tracker, transaction tracker, essentially. But, sourcing, I know, Sarah, we just had a whole source cleanup, right? But just kind of understanding where our leads are coming from and making sure that we have everything sourced correctly so that we can go, review, what are some of our biggest lead sources. We introduced YouTube as a lead source, and it's been phenomenal for us, honestly, and so just, having a better understanding of, what platforms and resources, where our marketing dollars should go, essentially, too. And then also in CSU, it also allows the agents to categorize the type of lead, right? So we give them structure from that perspective. How often should you be following up with the lead based on their category? And I mean, honestly, these are all follow-up strategies and things that we've learned from Workman. But just, having those resources readily available, those are some of the tools that we use like on a regular with the team.
Okay, so CSU, DSH, and then you're referring to the ABCs.
Right, the ABCs, yeah. And the workbench, the workbench, being able to log their success habits.
Okay, cool. And just real quickly, those of you, if you are private coaching clients, ask your coach for the double looping. What is it called? Double looping and accountability and awareness. And ask your coach for that, because it's a game changer when it comes to holding your team accountable for lead follow-up, right? It's easy when it's Nicole's credit card paying for the leads, right? Or her YouTube channel driving the leads, right? So, and that's a whole other, we don't have time to talk about her YouTube channel, but definitely go check it out. How many leads did you generate in 1 month?
Oh my God, like 40.
Yeah,
40, so 40 very, very qualified leads. Yeah, just from this YouTube channel. Yeah,
and YouTube also, you guys, and again, I got to move on to the next slide in lieu of time, but once you have enough content on YouTube, it actually starts to pay you as well. So I heard a story of an agent that made like $86,000 in 1 year. That's, I mean,
wow.
That's pretty good, right? So Nicole,
we got that, Nicole.
I wish from YouTube.
So awesome. Those are great tools you guys are using. So let's talk a little bit about top 50.
Yeah.
Oh, top 50 is beautiful. So
game changer.
So it's a game changer. So what top 50 is your biggest supporters as is 50 is finding the 50 people in your life that you want to do business with, or you want them to refer you business. If you adopt top 50, it's if you touch, nurture, reach out to those 50 people and ask them for one lead. If you can expect one lead every year, not month, not week, not day, but if you could get one lead from every one of your top 50, that way you can 50 leads from a month from people that know, like, and trust you. And what we all know is that referrals are the best type of leads that we can get. But the beautiful way of top 50, what I love about top 50, so Sarah's been saying, oh, Nicole's social media is great. Nicole's social media is wonderful. Nicole's social media is great. Some of us, like myself, we're not social media people. And that doesn't mean that you're going to sit on the wayside and, you can't sell real estate because you're not efficient or effective at social media. It's just that you have to double down on working your sphere of influence and making those touches. And so one way that we implemented top 50 in our business is, it's just nurturing through events, monthly touches, daily touches, like I said, having events, touching those people, nurturing those people. Top 50 tracker, they have 8651 is a great resource for top 50, but I'll jump into it real quick. Sorry. We were heavy in social media leads at one time. So Nicole, remember this. Nicole got the social media, the Facebook hacked. Okay. So I'm like, Nicole, see, you own it too much. That's why it got hacked. My page not getting hacked. Nobody cares about my social media page like that. It got hacked. So all of our leads and everything. So Sarah had been telling us for months, how's y'all top 50 going? How y'all working y'all top 50? What top 50 initiative are you doing this month? What top 50? We were like, we're going to work on it, Sarah. We're working on it, Sarah. Okay. So yes, so we didn't work on it. Okay. Let's just be honest. But once we start receiving leads from our social media sites, we were heavy on Facebook leads at one time. we had to tell our teams, get on the phone, okay? Reach out to top 50. And what that did for our business, it was wonderful. And it forced us to integrate top 50 into our business. And I'll let Nicole kind of jump in on that too, on the impact that it had with our trajectory of our leads from that point on as well.
No, absolutely. You know, and it's something I still think we can get tighter on it, just being honest. But, you know, from like Jermeshia said, you know, we were all heavy into Facebook ads and, you know, generating tons of leads from Facebook. And then one day it just cut off and we couldn't cut it back on, you know. And so just to think, you know, from a team running and operating a team, you know, your main lead generation source just tanks. You know, that can be a heavy impact to your bottom line, you know, so we really did hone in on the top 50. But what we learned is that, number one, the conversion rate shot through the roof because we were not doing any more internet cold calling. And now we were nurturing, you know, our top referral partners. So, you know, it really helped with our conversion rate to shoot through the roof. We didn't miss a dime in terms of, you know, our agents like closing ratios and things like that. So it really did, you know, it bought us in, you know, it made us, you know, truly understand the impact. Yeah, the impact of nurturing your top referral database. And I don't know, you know, I always tell people, you know, they see me and they see, you know, oh, you've done, you know, XYZ on social media. And just being very frank, some people are scared to death to, you know, get on social media, get in front of the camera and things like that, you know. So I try to, as much as I am on social media, you know, I really try to instill in our agents that there are other, you know, what we call pillars of income. You know, there are other marketing strategies that you can use that can generate you just as much income as, you know, a powerful social media influencer could. You know, it's just working them, you know, and we really
that's a good reminder as to why we advocate that in coaching to have 4 pillars, right? So that if one of the pillars falls down or gets shut off like Facebook, you've got 3 other pillars that are continuing to drive business. So yeah, you guys were a little slow to adopt top 50, but I'm very proud of you that we've learned from that and we're implementing it. So and
Sarah, what I want to bring up about top 50 as well, we all know real estate is about relationships. And a lot of people in the beginning, a lot of them can't afford the lead generate, you know, real estate gets expensive as well. Everybody's selling everything to realtors. And so it's a really low cost way to generate leads. And it's just bootstrapping it, just getting in, you know, doing the dirty work, you know, making that happen, making those touches. But we were in our weekly team meeting on Monday. One of our team members said, it was like, let's discuss some of your successes. He said, I sent 5 handwritten cards and I got a referral.
Nice.
It was less than a week turnaround. He just sent them this past weekend, and already his client received the handwritten card, and he's already has a referral from that. And that was from he sent a handwritten card to his top 50.
Yeah, love that.
You know, people are still writing cards. Some people are still checking the mail. I might not be one of them, but some people do.
So before we jump into Q&A, any final thoughts that you want to share with the group, and just a success tip, something to do, an ingredient, anything, just final thoughts before we jump into Q&A.
Consistency. Yeah. And, you know, I think that is the biggest thing, like for those that don't adopt to the daily. Okay, I'm just going to be honest. Those modules can be boring, okay, to people that are just sitting in a room watching them. Okay, they can be. But it's the systems and the process. And if you do it consistently, I promise you, you will reap the rewards. And that's the biggest apart from the buy-in from our agents. So if you have a team, you have a brokerage, or even if you're an independent agent and you're like, I've seen some of this stuff, whatever it is, if you just do it consistently and buy into the execution strategy of it, you're going to see the results. What you can be sure of, if you don't do anything, you're not going to see any results. Okay. So at least try, put in the effort, do it consistently. And if you already not making no money, what can it hurt? Just give it a chance.
Right. I love that. Nicole.
I mean, for me, the biggest thing was, I'll be honest, when Jermeshia approached me with coaching, you know, still thinking that agent mindset, just like, how much is this going to cost us? Right. But what I failed to look at is, how much is this going to make us? You know, so if like Jermeshia said, if you can buy into anything. If you don't do anything, you're not going to get anything out of it. Right. But I would encourage you guys to not be like, you know, somebody like Jermeshia and I, been in real estate for 11 years, spent the first 7 years of our business. I mean, just as individual realtors trying to figure it out. not one coach, not one mentor. And I make a joke, but I'm dead serious. Had I bought into like coaching and training earlier on in life, I'd be a multi-millionaire in this business right now. So my advice is just, don't focus on what it's going to cost you. Focus on how much it can make you.
Absolutely. Love that.
Touche.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's look at our chat. So we got, anybody want to come off mute and ask questions if you're in the panel? So let's see.
I will.
Okay, go ahead. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi. Hey, I applaud the heck out of y'all on your success. So with the agents that you have when you originally started your team, trying to get them to adopt the DSH points structure and doing those things, I know this is a question that comes up for every single team leader, is getting them to actually adopt it is consistently a nightmare. So do you have any tips or ideas on that, or do you put them out to pasture?
No, everybody doesn't adopt into it, right? Everybody, it takes a mindset shift, right? And anything new, people are not everybody's going to adapt into it, but what they clearly realized and what we clearly saw, what they clearly saw is that the ones that did hone into it, their profit, amount of money they made just kind of shot through the roof, right? And so I think it took a minute for those to adopt in it, but I would say get one champion on the team, because everybody on the team, there's always that one or two that really have an influence, outside of the team lead, right? Because the team lead is kind of, and sometimes can be the boss, right? Certain things you don't say in front of the boss, you may say to your coworkers and things like that, right? So if you just find, one that really has, that has some sort of influence on the team and help you champion, the success habits, that will help you as well.
For sure. And Jonathan, you got to go back to the 10 things to be on the team, right? It's very clear the expectations that are set there. And if you have somebody, and you go back to your culture, and if Verl was running this webinar, he would say we can solve all problems on the team with our core values, right? With our core values. So if they're not in alignment with that, and if DSH is on the 10 things, and one of your core values doesn't line up with their behavior, then we need to have a little tighten up with them, as Christy Buck would say. So I hope that answers your question. And then, so Cindy asked, who makes the first move? Does the candidate call you, or do you call the candidate? So we
have an attraction. We attract a lot of agents versus recruiting. So we still need a lot of work. We're still working in that recruitment. We've had a lot of organic growth. So the agents do reach out first through either calling, through our website. Then they're vetted through their application. So they're sent a link through a landing page. They have to send a link. We vet the application, and then we reach out and start our recruitment process from there.
Okay. Any other questions in here, Gabby? I'm having a hard time getting to them because every time I go,
I have a question.
it jumps around. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. So from the time that you guys started with the coaching with workmen, how long did it take to switch over from a bunch of part-timers to everybody full-time and kind of starting to realize the vision? How long did that process take?
Pretty early on, don't you think? We cleaned house pretty early.
We introduced a new standard, commission structure, more aligned with the industry, based on, us working, and that kind of just weeded out a lot of people, because the thing with part-timers, they're not really focused on, real estate anyway, and they don't want to give up a lot of their money. And so, when we kind of changed the commission structure around, that just kind of honestly weeded them out.
Yeah, self-elimination.
Yep, self-limit and getting clear on core values too, right? And so when they got clear about their core values, it changed their mindset about their value proposition, which then made it easier to change commission structures, because we started to realize like we're worth more than this, right? And we're tracking agents who want nothing, right? Who want that low quality service versus we want to do things with excellence, right? So as soon as they shifted their mindset and realized the value that they brought, it started to make it much easier to recruit. So do you happen to know what your buyer's agent wrote on that handwritten note card? Somebody's asking what they wrote in the card to get the referral.
No, but I have no clue what they wrote, but we do have, I'm sure you can probably go into Workman and download some, to be honest, in the resource library. They literally give you everything, but no, we don't monitor exactly what they write, but we do those types of initiatives. So like, that was the weekly challenge, like that particular week, competition, not challenge, competition, but that particular week, it was like, okay, we're focusing on handwritten notes, the top 50. Now everybody at least write 5 handwritten notes. And it's easy because I can look in the workbench and it itemizes out, the activities that they've done. So if, looking at the entire team, we don't have any handwritten notes this week. All right, now new competition, everybody get some handwritten notes out, so it kind of helps you tailor, these competitions, just keep morale good, keep camaraderie good too, and then allows you to understand what your agents are or are not focusing on. And so that's one thing that we need to do a better job in focusing on. So we'll through monitoring through through Workbench, we can then, create, hey, here's what the focus is this week.
Inspect what you expect, right?
Right.
So we had another question about the top 50. I don't know who this was, but 8651 in the back of that is chocked full of incentives for every single month. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've already given you some ideas. And so I hope that answers your question. Let me make sure I get to all the questions if I can. Commission structure. I don't know that we want to necessarily talk about that today. Certainly, Nicole and Jermeshia, I'm sure you would have a conversation with someone offline if you wanted to share what your commission structure is.
Right.
That gets a little dicey to share that type of stuff in a recorded webinar like this, just because, every market's different and commissioner standards and things are different. So, okay. Anything else in here? What is this?
And while you're pulling up the chat, Sarah, I want to point out too, once you start using the tracking mechanisms, whether you're a Workbench or a coaching client and you have access to Workbench, or if you just have them fill out their daily success habits every day, once you realize that, hey, they've made 60 phone calls and not one lead, then you need to understand, what are you saying to these people? Okay?
Right.
Because if you are doing that much work, and I have agents all the time that say, I'm doing the job, I'm doing it, I'm making the phone calls, I'm writing the handwritten letters, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm still not seeing any results. Us as leaders and team leaders and brokerage owners and brokers get to say, well, let's dive deeper into what you're saying, not what you're doing, but what are you doing? Like, what are those steps? What are you writing in that letter? Are you saying, don't call me, hey, what are you saying? Are you saying, hey, can you send me a lead? Like, what are you saying? So once you track it, you're able to go back and have a deeper dive. And so you can really get to the root of the problem or whatever's going on. So we can really help that agent to find their greatest level of success.
So are you saying you role play with your agents?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Good segue, Sarah. Good one, Sarah. Good assist, Sarah. Good assist.
And it's true, right? We if they're making the calls and they're not getting conversion rate, then we need to work on that. The average sales price for you guys, what, $350 now in Houston?
Here in the Houston.
Yeah, and they work primarily the Houston market. So we are at 2 minutes till. Are there any final questions or thoughts? Anybody else got any other questions? Awesome. Okay, well, let's see. Secondary email. Oh, okay. That's somebody for Gabby. It's been a pleasure talking with you ladies. Thanks so much for sharing and being as transparent and open. And hopefully some of you guys got some stuff out of this. And I'm certainly happy to talk to anyone. If you want to reach out to me, I'm certainly happy to share anything additional. And I know that the two ladies would also, if you have anything else that you want to take offline, they certainly are a resource for us.
Yeah, just thank you all. We really appreciate
thank you guys
it.
So much.
Thank you, Workman. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate you all for being here.
Awesome.
Y'all
Gabby, is there
bigger celebrities now?
Thanks, Jonathan. So we like that. Paparazzi's going to be following us soon.